He went live on YouTube while committing murder. And for a while, it actually worked. A perfect alibi. A perfect illusion. A perfect crime, or so he thought. Before we go deeper, welcome to the Story Vault, where real stories are told like you've never heard them before. If you enjoy chilling true crime stories like this, make sure you subscribe, because the next story might be even darker. Now let's begin. Natalie McNally was 32 years old. She wasn't famous. She wasn't controversial. She wasn't living a dangerous life. She was simply happy. Happy because she was about to become a mother. She was pregnant. Expecting a baby girl. And everything about her life was beginning to shift in the best way possible. There were plans. Dreams. A future that felt close enough to touch. Friends described her as kind. Warm. The kind of person who made people feel safe just by being around her. But the one person who should have protected that peace would become the reason it was destroyed. Stephen McCulloch. Her boyfriend. The father of her unborn child. At first glance, nothing seemed unusual about him. He blended in easily. Calm voice. Controlled behavior. The kind of person you wouldn't look at twice. And maybe that's what made everything more dangerous. Because sometimes, the most terrifying people are the ones who seem the most normal. Their relationship didn't appear perfect, but it didn't seem broken either. No loud warnings. No obvious signs. Just quiet tension that most people never noticed. But beneath that quiet surface, something was changing. Something was being planned. And by the time anyone realized, it was already too late. December 18, 2022. A normal evening. No alarms. No signs of danger. Just another quiet night. Until it wasn't. At some point that night, someone approached Natalie's home. They were dressed completely in black. Head to toe. Face covered. Identity hidden. This wasn't random. This wasn't spontaneous. This was deliberate. The person entered the house with purpose. No hesitation. No second thoughts. And when they found Natalie, the attack began immediately. It was violent. Brutal. Relentless. She was stabbed multiple times. Over. And over. And over again. There was no chance to escape. No time to react. Inside her own home, she was completely defenseless. And in those final moments, 2 lives were taken. Natalie, and her unborn child. The attacker didn't stay long. There was no panic. No rush. Just a quiet exit. Like the entire act had been rehearsed. And in a way, it had. When her body was discovered, the shock spread quickly. This wasn't a random act of violence. This was targeted. Personal. Calculated. Police immediately began investigating. Looking at everyone close to her. Family. Friends. And of course, her boyfriend. Stephen McCulloch. But almost immediately, something complicated the investigation. He had an alibi. And not just any alibi. A strong one. At the exact time of the murder, he appeared to be somewhere else. At home. On YouTube. Streaming. To anyone watching, it looked completely normal. A man at home, going about his routine. Interacting casually. Nothing suspicious. Nothing alarming. If anything, it made him look innocent. Because how could someone be in 2 places at once? How could someone commit such a brutal crime, while being live on camera? It didn't add up. But something about it felt off. Too clean. Too perfect. Too convenient. And in true crime, when something feels too perfect, it usually means it's hiding something. Investigators didn't stop at the surface. They leaned in closer, examining every detail, every second of that live stream. Because sometimes, the smallest detail is the one that breaks everything open. They replayed the footage again, and again, and again, looking for anything unusual, anything that didn't quite fit. And slowly, they started to see it. Tiny inconsistencies. Almost invisible. But impossible to ignore once you noticed them. The timing felt slightly off. The movements didn't fully align. There was a subtle disconnect between what was happening and when it was happening. And then, the truth started to surface. The live stream wasn't live. It was pre-recorded. A carefully constructed illusion designed to deceive. While that video played, creating the appearance of innocence, Stephen McCullough was somewhere else entirely. At Natalie's home. Carrying out the attack. It was a plan built on one dangerous assumption. That people believe what they see. Especially when it's on a screen. Because video feels real. Immediate. Trustworthy. But in this case, it was nothing more than a mask. A digital disguise hiding a brutal reality. And once investigators understood that, everything changed. The focus sharpened. The timeline shifted. And the illusion began to collapse. Digital forensics became the key. Because unlike people, data doesn't get fooled. It records everything. Movements. Locations. Timestamps. Patterns. And when those pieces were examined together, they told a completely different story. A story that didn't match the alibi. A story that couldn't be ignored. The more they uncovered, the clearer it became. This wasn't a crime of passion. It was planned. Carefully. Coldly. He didn't just want to commit the crime. He wanted to control the narrative. To create a version of reality where he couldn't be questioned. Where evidence worked in his favor. But reality doesn't bend that easily. And truth has a way of pushing through, no matter how well it's hidden. Stephen McCullough was arrested. Charged with murder. And as the case moved to court, the full picture began to emerge. The disguise. The planning. The fake live stream. The attempt to outsmart the system. Everything was laid out in detail. And piece by piece, the illusion he created was dismantled. In front of everyone. There was no mystery left. No confusion. Only the reality of what he had done. And in March 2026, the verdict was delivered. Guilty. Clear. Final. Undeniable. Guilty of murdering Natalie McNally. Guilty of taking the life of an unborn child. Guilty of believing he could escape it all. He was sentenced to life in prison. A permanent consequence for a temporary act of violence. But what makes this case truly unsettling isn't just the crime itself. It's how it was carried out. The idea that something as ordinary as YouTube could be used as part of a murder. A platform meant for connection, turned into a tool for deception. It changes how you see things. How you trust what you watch. Because in this case, what people saw wasn't real. And what was real remained hidden until it was too late. Natalie's story didn't end in silence. It became something else. A warning. A reminder. That danger doesn't always look dangerous. Sometimes it looks calm. Normal. Even familiar. And sometimes, it's hiding behind a screen. If this story stayed with you, then you understand why it needed to be told. This is what the Story Vault is built for. Stories that don't just inform, but stay with you. Stories that make you think long after they end. So make sure you subscribe, because the next story might be the one you can't forget. And trust me, it's coming.